Okay, so we're done with the streamer section and we're done with the backer. So now we want to work on our flower portion. But let me show you how I secure these. I take that off. Just take your scissors and nip that all the way down. Take a pipe cleaner or Chanel stem. Just run that through there. Gonna come out the top. Sometimes it gets hung up, just, you know, free it up to get it out. Now we're just gonna tie some knots in there. You don't want it pulling back out, so I usually do at least 3 knots. And then that extra one I just roll around and tighten it up like that. And then pull that back through. Open that up. Just put some hot glue in there, all down in there. Pull that back down again. Make sure it's down in there good. And then I put some hot glue around the sides. Shake it out. And you might need to go like this. You know, let it dry for 5 minutes before you start trying to attempt to put it on. We want these 2 sections together before I put the flower in. So we want to line these up. Again, I've got my flat sides and my rounded sides. So I want to match up my rounded sides. And you can take a pencil or a paintbrush like I've got here and just find your holes and just line them up and make sure you've got your holes lined up. Your backers, as you see, my backers aren't matching up exactly. That's okay. I just want to take my stapler and just put a stapler up there at the top, or staple at the top there. Take that out. Now that they're connected and I know that I won't lose my spot, I'm going to start putting some hot glue, but I want to be sure not hot glue that center hole. I don't want to cover that up, so I'm putting the hot glue about halfway around, about in the middle from the edge to the center hole, all the way around. And then I'm just going to squeeze this. Make sure you haven't glued any of your ribbons going some funky way. Now I'm going to stick my glue gun in there and fill in the little gaps and holes. Okay, now you can take your flower, find your center hole, push that through the hole, and make sure you pull all this stuff out. You can see how it pushed inward, so you want to make sure everything's all fluffed out where you want it. Nothing got bent inwards. We'll take this, pull it as tight as you can, pull it over to one side, whichever, you know, probably the top is easier to get to. You're going to take your stapler and you're just going to put a staple right there, like that. And then you can cut off some of the excess because you don't need that. Just fold that over and then add some more hot glue in there. And then you're going to pull this up and you're going to add some hot glue down in there. You're going to pull it up here and add some hot glue here. And then again, for the 3rd time, add some hot glue and press that down and make sure it's nice and glued. Now the reason why I'm not gluing it is I want to show you another option. Or, I've got another one here that I took apart. So it's all in pieces. You can do this with any mum, especially if you're doing one that's big, you got a lot of stuff in the head part of the mum or the backer part. You can take just the petals and fold them over, and you can staple or glue those into sections and then add things throughout. and you're not going to notice. So we're going to try that today. Now you can go ahead and do this part before you connect all your pieces, or you can do it after like I'm going to. It's whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm just going to put a staple to hold it together. Put some glue. I'm going to glue that down. It's where I want it. Next we're going to put on our little wristlet that I made, and I made a tutorial for this separately. And it goes on like this, my flat, flat, round, round. So this is important. You want to make sure that you get this on correctly. You don't want to have to cut it off or take it apart and redo it. So on a garter, you're always going to go east and west because it's going to go on their bicep, or some girls like to wear them on their legs. So for a garter, always east and west. For a wristlet, you're always going to go north and south when you're doing this style. If you're making it like this, it's going to go north and south because you want it to go on like this. I'm going to put some hot glue all over the center and over my elastic too. Make sure I'm putting it on correctly, north and south. Just hold that down until it starts drying good. Don't want to have any big gaps in between your backer, so I like to press down as tight as I can, get it all pushed together as much as you can. Don't want it to look real sloppy. Okay. So this isn't real easy, but I like to do this just for extra security. I'm going to go in through all these layers, and I'm going to put some staples. We've got it nice and secure, lots of glue in there. We don't want it oozing out everywhere, but we want to make sure that any of those gaps, there's glue. We just want to make sure this is nice and secure and it's not going to come undone on them. So you see we've got all these nasty staples and we need to cover that up. So first we're going to take a clean backer, and I'm just going to hot glue all over this backer. No staples on this one. Make sure we're putting it in there the same way. This one is just to clean it up. Cover those staples. Press it down tight. Again, you can go in if there's any gaps. Put a little bit more in there. This is not to secure it. This is just for looks, and so they don't get cut up. Okay, so you could stop there if you wanted to, but since this is on somebody's skin, on their wrist, I like to add some felt. So just get these cheap felt sheets, whatever color you want. You take your backer and you just trace it out. Just cut out around it. I like to try to make it just a little bit bigger than the backer so it covers everything, as you see. And what this is going to do is just going to provide a nice, smooth, soft surface for them so it doesn't irritate their skin. So I just hot glue one side, smooth that down. It doesn't take very much hot glue, just a nice thin layer all the way across. Just do your other side, smooth that down. And if you find out that your wristlet is too big, you can add more layers of felt. You can add more backers and more felt instead of trying to take it apart, and then that will tighten it up. I've done that before. Sometimes it just takes two more pieces of felt, and you've got it nice and tight. But you don't want it too tight either, so give them a little bit of room. But here you go. This is what it looks like on. Now, of course, we want to decorate the flower part. You know, I could put, of course, I could vinyl their name on that and do it like this if they're into cheerleading. I did this on my die cutting machine, so since I haven't put their name, it's a little big, but I can put it sideways like this. Figure out how you want it. I just kind of move stuff around and see how I like things before I start gluing anything. That way I'm not taking anything apart. If I could even, put it on the heart. You can make it a little bit smaller, or you could get stickers and do stickers. So like I said, I could do their name in vinyl.